I can't attend his funeral. So, uh, I took what we called in the Marine Corps weather leave. I learned that later, actually, after I got into the fleet, that is called weather leave. Now, the Marine Corps has a name for it. It's called unauthorized absence. But we called it weather leave. And that was whether you give it to me or not, I'm taking it. And so that's what I did. I took it. I stayed for the funeral and spent that time with family and had a brief moment to grieve and mourn. And then I reported to my next duty station, and I was met with what was called the Uniform Code of Justice. And I was busted down to a private, paid a $500 fine, and was restricted to base for 30 days. Yep. But it was worth it because I loved that man. And I loved him enough that the Marine Corps in that moment didn't matter. What mattered was giving him due respect and seeing him off and letting others know that I loved him. So that was that experience. That, of course, put a bad taste in my mouth with the Marine Corps, and so my level of belligerence skyrocketed at that point, and I became quite reckless and insubordinate to ranking authorities. I stopped standing formation. Now, mind you, I did my work. I did my work and did it well. I had no problem with my work and the classes and the lessons, but when it came time for like formation, being somewhere at a particular time, yeah, you couldn't tell me anything. So that began my years of increased turbulence because to fast forward a little bit, shortly after that, my grandfather took ill and was in the hospital, and I received an American Red Cross emergency alert notification, and it was from my grandfather wanting to see me before he passed. So when they got that message to me, they gave me an emergency leave to go and be with him. But by the time I did arrive, and mind you, they were still in Spotsylvania, Virginia. When I arrived, he had already passed. So that left my grandmother alone. She depended greatly upon him to get around because she was legally blind in both eyes and did not drive. And closest neighbors, you could not depend on them to always check on her. So here I am, roughly about, I think, 18 going on 19. And I requested what was called a humanitarian transfer. I asked if I could be transferred to Quantico, Virginia, which would have put me a little closer to my grandmother in Spotsylvania County, where I could check up on her, tend to her needs. However, here it goes. The Marine Corps denied my request on the basis that my grandfather was not considered my immediate family because there was no bloodline relation. Again, now this is the granddaddy that I grew up knowing ever since I was a little kid. What do you mean I cannot take care of my grandmother now that my granddaddy is dead and you won't extend my leave to get some things in order and in place? This is just really crazy. So you can imagine that by now, my first 2 years with the Marine Corps, I've got a real nasty taste in my mouth, and I don't want to have nothing to do with the Marine Corps. You can't tell me none. I ain't standing your formation. I'm not going to put my uniform on correctly. I'm not buttoning up my blouse. I'm not putting my cover on. I'm not shining my boots. And when I come to the chow hall, I'm skipping the line, and I dare you to say something. Yeah, that was my attitude. Now, mind you, I'm a private. But that was my attitude. And well, no, I did make it up to Lance Corporal, but that didn't last long. I got busted down, back down to private from Lance Corporal. I was up for a corporal promotion, but that didn't happen. But anyway, so my first 2 years was just traumatic, was very turbulent. And then I don't even recall what it was, to be perfectly honest, because it was a series of things that happened that led to me saying, you know what, Mike, come on, get it together, man. And so then that's what I started doing. I started trying to get it together. And so that brings me to this before I end this video, because it went longer than I wanted it to go. I apologize for that. But I had to lay that groundwork down for what I will be talking about in the next video as it relates to the mind. So the series of events leading up to this culminating moment is where I was reintroduced to the church. And this would be the first time that I would learn that there are different types of churches. They are called denominations. And so in my next video, I would encourage you to tune in. I know it was a while before I did this one. I apologize, between work and other things. I'll try and not space them out so far. But in my next video, I am going to talk about my reintroduction to the Christian church and Christianity as a religion. If you stuck with me up to this point, I appreciate you and I thank you for listening. I hope that you can what I'm saying resonates with you in one way or another, or you can relate to the experiences that I am sharing with you. Remember, I am simply sharing my life's journey, my spiritual journey, leading up to where I am in my resolve today. So thank you for tuning in. If you like the videos, please do hit the like so that it can move up, so it can be seen. And also, if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Akwazi Speaks, or you can subscribe to my Facebook page, Akwazi Speaks, and I'd be greatly appreciative. Certainly do leave your comments. I would like to know what you're getting out of these videos, if anything. Again, I'm not trying to persuade you to believe anything other than what you choose to believe, and I'm certainly not trying to change who you are. I just want to share with you, my audience, what life looks like for me in this journey. Thank you. Look forward to your comments. Again, hit the like button if you would, please. I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.